China's reaction. The process of resolving the Ukrainian crisis has reached a critical point, according to a statement from the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs following a call between Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Brazil's presidential advisor Celso Amorim. Wang Yi and Celso Amorim exchanged views on Russia's war against Ukraine. The minister said that the six-point consensus jointly proposed by China and Brazil played a positive role in cooling the crisis. The group of Friends of Peace that supported this initiative, including countries from the global south, expressed objective and rational positions, making positive efforts to promote dialogue and negotiations. Russia and Ukraine have taken an important step by starting negotiations. The process of resolving the crisis has reached a critical point. Last year, China and Brazil made a statement on the end of the war in Ukraine. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs said at the time that both sides fully supported the work of the Friends of Peace group and would continue to play a constructive role in promoting a political solution to the Ukrainian crisis. Analyst Serhiy Harmash said China and Brazil's six-point peace plan is acceptable for Ukraine, which should start dialogue with Beijing on its implementation. The Chinese government has denied that its citizens were involved in the Russian-Ukrainian war, emphasizing that it has repeatedly warned Chinese people against participating in armed conflicts in other countries. The office of the spokesperson for the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs told Ukrinform that the Chinese government has issued numerous security warnings, urging Chinese citizens to stay away from armed conflict zones in other countries and avoid participating in military operations by any side. This comments on Ukrainian President Zelensky's statement that mercenaries from several countries, including China, are in the Vovchansk sector. The Chinese Foreign Ministry stressed their position remains clear and consistent. The ministry added that China is committed to promoting peace talks and an early ceasefire. We have a guest on the line with us who is joining us now. This is Dmytro Zhmylo, Executive Director of the Ukrainian Center for Security and Cooperation. Welcome, Dmytro. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Congratulations. Today we are discussing Witkoff's visit to the Russian Federation. Vladimir Putin and Witkov talked about the war in Ukraine and the strategic partnership between Russia and the United States. Putin's aide Yuri Ushakov said that Putin had sent signals to the U.S. about the war in Ukraine, but their content remained unknown. According to Yuri Ushakov, similar signals allegedly came from the U.S. president, possibly as pressure, bargaining, or covert escalation. Russia may use this to push demands or set negotiation conditions. The White House's current stance supports Ukraine, maintains sanctions on Russia, and is open to diplomacy if international law is respected. The White House's position is fluid. This is classic bargaining, as Witkoff's visit took place a few days before the expiration of Donald Trump's so-called ultimatum. There are two currents in Trump's environment. Witkoff represents the Party of Peace, which seeks an agreement with the Russian Federation. Keith Kellogg represents the Party of War, a Republican who understands well what the Soviet Union is. Earlier, during the warming of relations between Moscow and Washington, the Kremlin promised the United States a lot. The Kremlin promised rare earth metal access and American company rights to develop oil and gas fields amid complex agreement negotiations. The Russians have taken a principled position, as they believe that Ukraine needs to be finished now, because there will probably be no such chance in the future, so they will continue to move along this path. Russia can promise Washington something, offer lucrative contracts or preferences to the United States in the hope of buying time, since it has no plans to fulfill these agreements. Donald Trump's pragmatic business approach to solving problems is not consistent with the war in Ukraine because it is not a war for resources. Russia is not waging a war for resources because it has enough of them. This is an ideological war, as Russia realizes that without control over Ukraine, its plans for the European continent and 15 scenarios of aggression against NATO's eastern flank will remain unrealizable. Vitkov has warm personal contacts with representatives of the Kremlin and is likely to pass on relevant initiatives to Donald Trump. The reaction of the American side will become apparent within a few days, depending on whether it will be further talks, half-hearted steps, or actual sanctions. Both options now seem realistic.